Folks, this is the True American Podcast. I'm your host. Most of my listeners, they pretty well know why I call my podcast the True American, but I still every so often give some brief history. You know, if we're talking about Kentucky history, we're talking about Cassius Clay, the radical abolitionist. Back in the 19th century, he started a newspaper called The True American. And this guy, when I say radical abolitionist, I mean radical abolitionist. He had there in his printing office, of course, he was getting threats from supporters of slavery and slaveholders, etc. So he said, so Cassius made this decision. He said, okay, well, I got something for you. And he put a cannon in his printing office and said, you want to come? You want to burn my place down? You want to stop my newspaper? Give it your best shot. So I said to myself, yeah, I like a guy like that. I'm with that. And he one time inherited slaves, which were tremendously valued, price-wise. And he freed them immediately. And so this to me is, I said to myself, well, I want to carry on that name and keep educating people about that great man, Cassius M. Clay. Today, folks, we're talking to Vince Palazzo, who, in my opinion, is a true American in the tradition of a Cassius M. Clay. He's the vice president of the American Family Association of Kentucky. And we're going to just talk to him a little bit today about AFA, history, the mission, and then talk about something, a subject that I have interviewed one other person about, and it's a subject that is very disturbing, extremely disturbing. But we got to get it out there. We got to talk about it. And I'm asking people, please take this interview and share it with as many people as possible, including people on the Board of Education. Brother, thank you for joining us today.
My pleasure.
And brother, what is the American Family Association of Kentucky?
Well, Dr. Simon started this nearly 40 years ago. He started, fighting abortion and just standing up for the American family. He was instrumental in fighting against the gay marriage that went through. The American Family Association of Kentucky, we were instrumental in getting In God We Trust put back in schools. We were also instrumental in, just several things throughout the years making a difference. We fight for faith, family, and freedom. Mm-hmm. So we fight for our Constitution. We fight for traditional family values and, for our freedom of faith and to stand up with our Christian morals and values. Okay. All right.
And is it a membership-based organization or?
No, not at all. No, it's, we have over 100,000 on our mailing list, just people that are like-minded that want to uphold our traditional family values, what our country was built on and based on.
Yeah, right. And I have, every so often I've seen you guys have meetings, at a black church or two. So AFA is conscious about trying to reach out to black churches and all.
Listen, we are one race. If you go in the hospital and you need a blood transfusion, they don't look and say, we need a black donor. No, they look at the type of blood you have, which is the same type as me, and they give you a blood transfusion. Right. Color, the powers to be, the elites want to keep us separated, black people from white people, Hispanic people. They want to keep us separated because divided we fall, together we stand. Mm-hmm. And, God created us all in his image, and we are one people. It doesn't matter. So, yes, we are really working hard to work with a lot of churches in the West End and predominantly black churches to bring those, bring people together because we don't believe in segregation.
Okay. All right. And so let's switch gears a little bit here and talk about something that I still find very disturbing. I'm absolutely amazed that here I am, talking about this, because I tell you, when I was in middle school, this would be no discussion whatsoever. People would have been in jail. And what I'm talking about, as you know, brother, is basically pornographic material that's in some public schools. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So we created a website called jcpsexposed.com, and we created this website because, we said that the problem is that parents don't understand, they don't realize these books are in their child's school, but these are flat out pornographic books. They have pictures. I don't know how much I can say. Does this air on? But the quotes from the books, there's incest, there's pedophilia involved. Okay, in books in your 4th and 5th graders' schools.
Yeah.
Okay, in the libraries, and it's in our public libraries too. So we have launched an all-out campaign to get the word out and wake parents up, and get some mama bears that'll stand up and fight and come against the school board. You had Miranda on your show, I believe, one day.
Yes.
And she read from a quote from one of these books, and school board member Corey Shaw, who is also a pastor of Burnett Avenue Baptist Church, he shut her down. He said, "Ma'am, stop. This is obscene material." And she was like, "Exactly. So why is it in our schools, our child's schools?" So,
let me interrupt, follow up a little bit with that. Brother Vince, he's talking about an interview. Well, he's bringing up Miranda Stovall. She's with No Left Turn in Education, and I had interviewed her. You go to my webpage, my website, Book Talk with Corbin, CORBIN.com, and she recounted that very incident that Vince just said, and I was absolutely, it was hilarious to me because the way Vince just described it is exactly the way she described it. She just went to the microphone, read directly from the book, didn't make any no commentary, didn't add anything, didn't subtract, directly from the book. And Corey Stovall, who's a liberal, he's a flat out liberal. He shut her down. He said, "Ma'am, that's pornography." And then she just shut the book, turned around and went back, made her statement. It was absolutely beautiful. Made her statement. Brother, I mean, why are those books still there? I don't get it.
After that, she was on radio program, and all these video and audio clips are on our website, jcpsexposed.com. So she was on the radio. After she was done, Marty Polio called in defending these books. So, that told me right away that he wasn't going to do nothing about it. So I picked up the phone. I called Pastor Corey Shaw. It took me, anyway, I finally got a hold of him.
Right.
And in the conversation, I said, "You remember this?" "Oh, yeah, I remember." I said, "Well, what are you doing about it?" "Well, what do you mean?" I said, "Well, what are you doing about these books in our children's schools?" He's like, "Well, my understanding is it was taken out of context." I said, "In what context is I sucked his dick and he sucked mine okay for 4th graders?"
Yes.
And he's like, "Well, look, I haven't read the book. Did you read the book?" I'm like, "I've not read the whole thing. I didn't need to." He's like, "Well, you didn't read the whole thing. I didn't read the whole thing. So, I can't find the books in the school." I'm like, "Well, we've got the letters from the principals refusing to remove them. We got letters from the school board refusing to remove them. So with that said, what we have to do is remove the school board member." Okay? Anyone calling themselves a pastor and defending this kind of pornography, yes, I have a serious problem with.
I read your pamphlet. AFA's pamphlet put out a pamphlet on this, and they showed some of the graphics. They gave some of the quotes. It's pornography, period. People, it's pornography. And I want to encourage my listeners, don't take my word for it. Don't take Vince's word for it. You follow up and look at this stuff for yourself. Brother Vince, he doesn't want you to say, well, this is my position, these are my thoughts, and you just lockstep fall in line with him. He wants to show you the evidence. Go to that website. What's that website again, brother? jcpsexposed.com?
That's right.
Folks, go to that website. I'm sure if you contacted AFA, they would also send you their little track they did.
You can also download it off the website and print it out for yourself and share it and everything else.
That's it. See it. Look at it for yourself. I looked at it, and actually what I saw was worse than what I thought it was. It was worse than what I thought it was. And folks, I've seen pornography. This is pornography. And as Brother Vince just said, what is this doing? Not only just in the public school system, but children. Children. When I was coming up, we were, we look at Hustler and Playboy because we knew that if we got caught looking at that, our parents would, rip us a new one. We also knew that if some adult was to approach us and show that to us, we were to run from them because we were taught, hey, they're a molester. They're a pedophile. And yet now we got this in the public school system.
And you know how they get away with it? So there's a law in Kentucky which I think Southworth was trying to pass a bill to change it. But there's a law that says if this stuff is for educational purposes, then it's okay. Mm. But if you or I went to the street and gave these books to children,
yes,
we'd be in jail, and rightfully so.
Right.
But our teachers and school system and libraries can do it because it's educational.
Yeah.
Okay. Why are they trying to educate our children to be gay and lesbian?
Yeah. I mean, when I looked, I saw nothing of any educational value to it. And yeah, like you say, brother, if we were to go up and hand this kind of stuff to kids, we would be arrested. But not only would we be arrested, but I think actually I would prefer to be arrested because I'd be fearful how a parent would respond to that. You gave my child what? Boy, you better start running like Jesse Owens. You better start running like Jesse Owens. And that situation, and what you say, Marty Polio, he's the, who is he, brother?
He's the head of the school board.
And his response was what to?
His response was, well, she was taking it out of context. And in his defense, slightly, because she said, the story says, Doug Goebbels and I went in the bushes after a youth group, and he sucked my dick, I sucked his. But it says, Doug Goebbels, the real estate agent. And so she thought that the guy was much older. He was a real estate agent, and he was with a child. But what they were doing was they were talking past tense. So they were both younger when it took place, but now they're older, and they're referring to him as a real estate agent. So in that aspect, it was taken out of context. However, it doesn't matter if it's two kids. When you talk about doing sex acts on each other and showing pictures of it in a fourth grade book, it's wrong. Absolutely. Okay.
Fourth grade book.
Fourth grade. Well, it's for fourth grade. It's in middle schools.
Right.
So we went to Westport Road Middle School, which has most of these books, and we handed all these flyers out in the carpool line because we're trying to wake up the parents.
Yes.
The parents don't know it's there. And if you ask the school, they'll say, "Oh no, we don't have it." But Miranda she had to jump through a lot of hoops, and she had to do an open records request to actually find out where the books were because they try to hide them from the parents.
That last statement, brother, hold up. They try to hide it from the parents?
Oh yeah. Yeah. But listen, the schools are the teachers, the schools. Well, how many schools you hear about all the time in the news? If your child thinks that if Sam wants to become Samantha, they say, okay, well, we'll do that at school, but when we send letters home, we're going to refer to you as Sam because we don't want your parents to know that you want to. And some schools are gone as far as to say, we're going to start giving you hormone blockers the school nurse and some places to start your transition without the parents' knowledge.
Clearly undermining parental authority. Clearly undermining parental authority.
We at the AFA are pushing good Christian private schools. Pastor Cecil Bly, More Grace Academy has a great school. Destiny Academy, Brother Derek Wilson down across from Shawnee High School, he's got a great school. There's a lot of options out there. We're urging parents to pull their kids out of the public school system because the public school system is indoctrinating your kids. If you have any moral values at all, get them out of the school.
Now, you had mentioned two schools, More Grace Academy, that's Pastor Cecil Bly.
Yes.
And the other one is he?
And that's on Taylor Boulevard. And the other one is Destiny Academy, which is Pastor Derek Wilson. He's down at 26th and Market, I believe, right in that area, right across from, that Shawnee High School down there?
Yes.
Directly across the street from it.
Okay, all right.
And I believe Brother Stevenson has a school also. I think his only goes through maybe elementary or middle school. I'm not sure.
Okay, all right. Well, brother, we've run out of time as usual. It's always enlightening to talk to you. I mean, it's obvious that as vice president of AFA that you're really on top of things, and you guys have been doing great work for the longest time. I've known of Dr. Simon for longer than I care to admit. He's been a real warrior, and there've been some times he's been up there just like a lone voice in the wilderness. And I'm so glad now that we got that. We have AFA up, and we got brothers like you who are up there, who are standing in the gap, brother, standing in the gap. Brother, let's do this again sometime, okay?
Sounds great. Thank you so much, Brother Corbin.
You bet.